Hello there, my name's Adam Cook, and I'm joined by Chris White. How are you, Chris?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm very excited, mate, because we are here to talk about your review of God of War. No, not the old games, the brand new spanking game for PlayStation 4. Chris, let's just jump into it. What do you think of it? You finished it? What do you reckon?
I think it's one of the best games on the PlayStation 4. Don't say that lightly.
No.
There's a lot of factors which make it so good. I suppose we'll just start off with why. And one of the most exhilarating things about the game is the combat. Now, I don't want to jump into too much because...
actually, sorry, before you get too into it, I do want to quickly make it well aware within this first minute, we will not be spoiling anything. We're not even allowed to spoil anything, so you can watch this video. All you will see is bits and bobs of combat, maybe some menu stuff, but nothing that is spoilery, and Chris and I will not be spoiling it either. So, sorry, Chris, carry on.
No, that's fine. So the main kind of crux of the combat is the use of the Leviathan Axe. So it's a big frost axe which you use to take down enemies in a variety of different ways. You have your light attack and your strong attack by using the R1 and the R2. You've also got Runic Attacks, which are basically powerful kind of extra attacks which you can do by holding in L1, which readies your shield, and then pressing one of the R1 or R2 to do that attack. And you can find these all over the place. You can unlock them by spending Hack Silver, which is the God of War currency. And they always add kind of an additional element of strength to each attack and range as well, because there's a lot of different enemies that come in different ways. There's the Draugrs that will run dead at you. There's ones that will fire kind of projectiles. There's massive ogres you fight, and all sorts of different enemy types which will have different attacks, so you have to kind of adapt to each one. And it's very, very good because you get the shield as well, so you can stop like strong attacks, or it's all about kind of working out what's best for you, and each enemy is different, so you have to kind of attack each one differently.
And there are a lot of enemies in this game. There are a lot of enemies full stop, but then within each enemy there are variants of those enemies. And that it makes the combat. It makes you think. There are big enemies, like you say, that will attack you. But if depending on, because you can customize the UI to be fully immersive and not have stuff on, or you can have it standard, and it's not Horizon Zero Dawn. When you first play that UI is too busy. This one's, I found it fine, but you'll see like a big red circle which indicates that's not something you can block. You got to move, but then they might immediately follow that up with a yellow attack which you can block, because it's got the it's got a full parry system with your shield, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it's very useful. You do learn to read the enemy attacks quite well, especially later down the line when you fought them quite a bit. But they can still take you off guard, and with multiple enemies coming at you from all angles, it's difficult to kind of get used to that. But I mean, a quick tap of the D-pad down turns you 180 degrees. So, I find that very useful, especially at the start, because you do get overwhelmed quickly, and a quick tap of that makes you turn and attack anyone from that's attacking you from behind, especially when they're firing projectiles from a cliff face. You quickly turn, hold L1 for your shield, and you'll stop any damage being done to you. But part of the combat as well is making use of your son Atreus, and he becomes very useful. But the main thing he will do is distract enemies by, if you press square, he'll fire an arrow at them, and especially early on you get into this massive fight with an ogre, and he'll distract him so that you can get a few attacks in from behind, and it is very useful. He'll also jump on smaller enemies' shoulders, stopping them from seeing, and then you can get a good strike through the head and take them out. So it is very useful, and they're fully upgradable. You and your son, you can buy armor, buy axe pommels to upgrade your axe and give you certain perks like strength perks and cooldown perks as well, because both your runic attacks take time to recover, so there's a little boost there.
This is an RPG, isn't it?
Yes.
In some ways, in some, it's still a third person action adventure, but it's also an RPG because there are stats in this game. You are upgrading and equipping different things. Like within each bit of armor and within your weapon, you can equip. You can socket. Is it enchantments? And they also, and some of them can hold 1, some can do 3, and all these things change the stats, and there's like a whole luck, cooldown, runic, strength, defense, and another I'm forgetting, but like it's a full on. It's a third person action adventure game, but it's also a loot game, and it's also a kind of an RPG, isn't it?
Yeah, and you do find that you'll swap between certain pommels or certain armor because it does have benefits for fighting different enemies, and you've got the frost giants, you've got the kind of drugs that come at you, with fire bolts. So you do have to kind of change around to get the most out of what you've got. So I always kind of try to buy new upgrades, new armor, just in case, because you do learn quickly that it's not that straightforward.
You will, like you said, you'll die, and then you'll keep dying, and you're like, why am I not able to just fight? And if you change it up a bit, you're like, oh, now I'm a bit more well equipped. I'm conscious that we could talk probably for half an hour about the combat alone, but yeah, I think we should also see that the question I think most people will want to know is one I don't think we should answer, because I think people will be asking, why is this called God of War? Why isn't it God of War 4? Like, the question is this a sequel? And I think the only safe thing to do there is to say it is, but play the game and you'll find out what's going on. Like, that's any more than that and you start to get into spoiler territory. So let's talk about something else. Let's talk about how it looks and sounds, because I think this is a game that deserves to be played with headphones on. The sound design in this game is out of this world, I think, Chris.
Oh, it's phenomenal. The sound design is excellent. You've got a lot of different environments that you go to, and the kind of attention to detail on each one is perfect. And visually, again, it's absolutely stunning. Like from the places you go to the people you meet, the animation is incredible. And with a story that packs so much weight, you've got some really good performances from all the characters. And again, there's so many, because it's based on, as you all know, it's based on the Norse mythology. So there are characters from there which you will meet, and just the detail's incredible. But also the soundtrack by Bear McCreary, who did Battlestar Galactica and like The Walking Dead. He has created such a perfect soundtrack to this game. It's like within the first 10 minutes, you already moved to tears by how powerful it is for a certain scene, and it just keeps on going. So yeah, it's absolutely breathtaking.
I mean, it is, again, it's interesting because I think this is a game that we're going to have much more to say about if you listen to our podcast and obviously read Chris's review. But we're both, I think, being very careful, because I feel really strongly about not spoiling this game, because I'm with Chris. I've finished it as well, and I think it's probably the best PS4 exclusive. It's certainly one of the most engrossing games I've played in a few years, actually. I finished it and I'm still playing it. You know what I mean? I just can't. It's all I want to play at the moment, and it's Chris, you in your review, you said it's the easiest 10 out of 10 you've ever given, and I think, maybe bar Mario Odyssey, I would agree with you. Like, it's, we don't always agree on scores on God is a Geek. It is Chris's review ultimately, and there have been cases in the past where I'm sure I've written a review and he's not agreed with the score, but on this one, there's two people sat right here who are saying this is I don't know about you, but that there are elements that, because I'm a big God of War fan, there are some elements in this game that, like, they're meant for me. But I don't think that if you aren't a God of War fan, or if you don't like, or if you haven't even played them, I don't think they won't hit quite as hard.
No.
But they will still be really cool moments, and I think that this is it's different enough whilst retaining enough of the God of War ethos, but it is a different game. And the thing I feel like, I don't know if you agree with this, is that when someone said to me, like, oh, God of War 2018, new God of War, I feel like in the culture we live in now, I don't think I would have been very confident that could work, and yet this is pretty much exactly the only way it could work, and they've executed it flawlessly. Like the direction of the camera, the voice acting, as you said, like, it's all done so well. I don't think there's a loading screen unless you die.
No.
I think that they disguise it quite well. There's like I think it's called Realm Between Realms or something, where you can go between, it's fast travel essentially, but you go in a door and there's chat going on while you're walking, and then the door comes, you load into the next section, and you never actually see a loading screen. It's masked so well. Cutscenes aren't obvious. I've gone from playing Far Cry 5 where a cutscene finishes, fades to black, then you're back into the game. This, you never. There's bits where I was playing where I'd be walking and then I'd realise, oh, hang on, I'm in a cutscene, because it's like, yeah, I'm totally in agreement with Chris. This is an absolute incredible game, I would say.
Yeah, and it's going to be clear come end of year. There's going to be many features of this that's going to be in there.
Yeah, it's take a lot.
It's already. I've easily secured the moment of the year. It's it's just incredible. So just go and play it.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly it. Just go play it. Be very careful. Like I said, we've kept our stuff spoiler free. Be very careful. There'll always be someone trying to ruin it. Don't allow them. Go play it. If you like God of War, you will love this game. Chris, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And we'll see you in the next video, or whenever you choose to watch. Bye-bye for now.